All right. Teoscar Hernandez is back, y'all. How we feeling? It was surprising. The timing could not have been better, but he's here. Also, everyone, go join the YouTube. I am still trying to push the YouTube because, again, we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok in about a month from now. So go join the YouTube. Go comment. Here we go. We got one person in here. In Night TV. Teo is back. That is correct. Teoscar Hernandez is back, and I'm so excited. Yes, sir. How we feeling? Okay. So, if you guys, I have a tweet up. We have Teoscar back, Blake Trinan, Blake Snell, Michael Conforto, Tommy Edman. We lost Walker Buehler, Daniel Hudson, Kevin Kiermaier. Still to re-sign Clayton Kershaw, potentially, Jack Flaherty, Kike Hernandez, Joe Kelly. Technically, we are at 40 roster spots, so we technically don't have more room for another player, but obviously Clayton's going to be back. I expect Kike to be back, Jack Flaherty, Joe Kelly. I think we can consider probably to be gone, which not a huge blow in my opinion, but man, Teoscar Hernandez, how do we feel about him coming back, y'all? Oh, and we also have to add Roki Sasaki still, so still a lot of movement. Andrew Friedman, again, figuring out how to get some deferred money in on this, which is like, I know the whole MLB is going to hate us. So it is what it is. What's my day job? I just work at a tech company. We need to Teoscar back. He was such a clubhouse presence. Yeah, look, I know, again, and I know many of you are saying that I'm a Teoscar hater. Ultimately, what it is that I feel like I have like a very similar mind to the front office where I don't try to get too attached to any particular players because the only ones who are like for sure going to stay are Shohei, Mookie, Freddie. Like these like are core players. Everybody else realistically are going to have to either come in and come out. And I think pragmatically, we just can't have all elite players at every position. So I think with Teoscar, he's one of those people that's very nice to have. But if we ended up losing him, I think we would have figured out a way. That being said, very happy he's back. People keep talking about defer, but they're putting up a lot of ton of signing bonus money, $23 million in signing bonus. Again, guys, please hop onto the YouTube as well. I'm trying to get those numbers up going into the new year. Where do I see? Okay, do I think it's weird how Dodgers didn't even meet with Sasaki? No, I don't think that's weird. I think this lends itself to potentially this idea that Roki is locked for the Dodgers anyways. There's no need to meet. Or what Roki is doing is going to see what all the other teams are going to offer him and then come back into the Dodgers and say, hey, I do want to come here, but I still have all these great opportunities. What do you have to offer me? Where do I see Outman fitting in? Realistically, I think James Outman gets traded. I think he's young enough, has shown enough promise that another team may take a bet on him. So realistically, James Outman, I did not see him being on the Dodgers next year. Yeah, sorry guys, I forgot to get let me try to do this. I just don't want to mess up my wire. Maybe I could do it on my keyboard. Does that work? Thank you. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube. I don't think we can do anything about the light, man. I'm sorry. It's just the way my apartment's set up, realistically. Here we go. I think that's better. Okay. Oh, nope. I'll be right back. Let me go get my... I'll be right back. This is good living. Just stepped away for 10 seconds. All right, here we go. Although I don't know if this is going to help the lighting issue, but we'll try to get you guys. Oh man, I don't think it's going to help, is it? Here we go. Maybe I can. All right, that'll be the best I can do. Pete is staying up free agent. We got Freeman. If we don't get Saki, do you think we'll go for Burns or sign Reed Flaherty? I don't think we get Jack back. I just don't think he fits in the cards. Okay. Sorry guys, let me scroll up a little bit. What did I miss? Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, follow the TikTok. If you're on TikTok, go follow the YouTube. Yes, the deferred money thing is crazy. Again, guys, the deferred money is a risk for the player. And I know there's a lot of machinations to make sure that they maybe make more money off the investments and stuff like that, but it's still money that they can't touch right now. And I think that is always a tough ask for players. Do you think we're going to make another big signing or trade soon? Big is what is kind of relative. I do think Tanner Scott, he would be a big signing. I do see him potentially coming to the Dodgers. And then Sasaki would be the biggest one of all. Is Conforto a starter or a sub? I think probably he'll be like an everyday outfielder, but everybody in the outfield I feel like is fungible in and out. So is Lou Bob not a thing anymore? Sorry, I don't know if I know the reference. Oh, no. Or, I mean, they still could. I think they could still definitely trade for Luis Robert, but I personally hope it doesn't happen, but I might be in the minority in that. Yep, Sasaki and Scott, that your videos are giving me hype. I'm sorry, Omar. Sasaki, no news yet. I know he's been meeting with a bunch of teams except the Dodgers. That's pretty much all we have right now. I think they're trying to run through the process and be really diligent about it. So, Tor on the YouTube chat asked, can you give us a breakdown of the Teoscar contract? I've seen 23 mil deferred and 23 signing bonus per season. I think that means he gets 23 up front, which it's a $66 million contract. So then the 43 million is broken up across the 3 years, with 23 of that being deferred money, which I think puts it at 20 million for 3. So I think the payroll hit might be around $6 million if my math is correct, and someone can correct me on that as well if I'm wrong. Still think we should get Santander. Pretty expensive. He's looking for 100 for over 5. I think that might be too rich for the Dodgers' blood, if I'm going to be honest. Any news on Mayo Gonzalez? I think they're supposed to be ready by spring training, by the beginning of the season. Is MLB going to try to stop the deferred money stuff? I mean, they shouldn't. Again, it's something that I think the players fight for. If they do that, it would very clearly be an attempt at trying to slow down the Dodgers kind of train, but I don't see them arbitrarily just getting rid of it for competitive advantage sake. I swear I keep... Me too, man. What's Kershaw's return date? Not sure, honestly. Not sure about any Kershaw news or his timeline or anything like that. We have too many outfielders. Can we ever have enough? I think the thing is they can all kind of play in. Edmund can play in the infield. Obviously, Betts can flex to the outside. I think that's a good thing. I think ultimately that is a good thing. Better year, May or Gonzalez. I think it depends on what you mean better. And I also think they might play different roles, starter versus out of the pen. But overall, I think Gonzalez, I feel good about him. No Cerveza for me, trying to lose weight. Yeah, Gonzalez, that's signing picture. Yeah. Do you speak on Lakers? gripping ain't easy. I don't think you want me speaking on the Lakers, but I will say Austin Reeves finally looked pretty decent for the first time this season. Who cares? We are set for the next. See, this is okay. This idea that the Dodgers are good to go for the next, however many years. I think that's the wrong way to think about it, because baseball is an incredibly high variance sport, and I think you have to constantly be kind of positioning yourself to not be complacent. And so one of the potential advantages I saw with not re-signing Teoscar is that he hit a very high season, and I think the Dodgers are going to have to get lucky over the next few years on hitting almost like career years for players that are rotating in and out of the organization. And that's just the reality of how expensive this team is. Taking bets on guys like Michael Conforto, I think that's just what we have to do. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm very, very enthusiastic about what these next 4, 5, 6, 7 years will look like. If Tanner Scott gets traded, Vesey or Banda, I don't think we get rid of either of them, to be honest. Again, I don't think we can be presumptuous that everyone's going to stay healthy. I could see us moving some position players or other maybe starters that don't have room on the roster, like a May, like a Gonzalez, like a Stone. Is Kershaw locked to resign? I think so. I don't know if any other team, minus the Texas Rangers, who are always a threat, are going to sign Clayton Kershaw. So I agree. Stacked. So Grove should be. Oh yeah, or Michael Grove as well. If you don't win another chip, will this team be considered a failure? So somebody asked me what I thought would be considered success for this team. And I think 4 championships over 10 years. So I think 3 over the next 9 years, 3 more. I think you would have to consider that a success. I mean, 40% win rate over a 10-year stretch, I think in baseball is almost impossible to do. Baseball, again, is just so unpredictable with pitchers, hot pitchers in the playoffs, things like that. So I think if we were to win 4 total in 10 seasons, so 3 in the next 9, I would consider that a success. But we'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that. I might not be in the majority there, so you guys let me know. Yes, thank you for the ice cream cone. Yeah, we're definitely lucky to be Dodger fans. I would hate to be a fan base of the fans of another team, because River Ryan, I think he's out for 2025 from what I know. Can we package a Lux and Outman? I mean, we can, but I guess who would we package them for? I know you guys are very down on Gavin Lux. I still believe in him. Again, he got injured a couple years ago. Coming back from injury is always tough. Second half of the season, Lux looked very promising. Faded again a little bit in the playoffs, but I am a Gavin Lux fan. I will say that right now. I'm a Gavin Lux fan. I don't want him going anywhere. Burns, I think the longer he stays unsigned, the more likely, or I guess the more probable it becomes that he becomes a Dodger, because I can see us throwing big money for a short time period at Burns. So possible. Tanner Scott and Luis Robert. Potentially, yeah, maybe. I know you guys all like Luis Robert, but personally I'm not there. But it is what it is. Can Miller be like Bueller? Can he? From a talent perspective, maybe. Will he be? Right now, it's pretty doubtful. That being said, I believe in Bobby Miller. I'll always believe in Bobby Miller. So I can't wait to see him pitch again next year, and I think he'll be good. Dodgers will sign Burns if they miss out on Sasaki. Possible. I could see that. Possible. Yeah, exactly. We need to be able to hit on our young players like a Gavin Lux, because realistically, we just can't get all these high-priced guys. It's just not going to work in the long run. Still trade for a center fielder and move Edmund to second base with trading Lux. Yeah. Again, I'm not opposed to any of these ideas. I think it just depends on who it is. I think there are people in free agency that we could sign that would require us to not trade. And trust me, I'm not someone who's like too precious about the young guys. Like, if we can trade them, I'm down. Even someone as good as a Dalton Rushing. But it just depends on what you get back. Because I'm a fan of getting kind of known assets. So that's personally my perspective. George or Jorge, I think it's George. You're the only one that likes my takes. Everybody hates my takes, which is fine. Love or hate, that's all that matters. Love me or hate me. Don't be apathetic to me. Care about me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you guys are unhappy about Mookie Betts moving to the infield, but it's just going to happen. I think we need to just accept it. There's no use fighting it. You know what I mean? What type of contract? I mean, it's going to be like a 1 year, 10 million, 15 million. I think Kershaw understands where he's at this point in his career. I think he just wants to be part of the postseason run, one last World Series run where he's contributing, and then I think he can happily retire. I do think Ohtani will be pitching this upcoming season. How much or when, we shall see. Skeens blockbuster trade, there's no way. I don't know what we'd have to give up, but there's no way they're going to trade Skeens to us. MLB might actually step in and stop that. Who would I want the Dodgers to sign? I don't know. I feel like we got everybody, but Tanner Scott is probably at the top of my list. Best food I ate on my recent vacation. I'll be honest, I wasn't able to hang out in Mexico too much, and on my cruise, it's cruise food, so it's decent. But the tacos in Ensenada, very good. Highly recommend. How much does Tanner Scott's command for Dodgers? I think it's 15 mil is the number that I saw. Do I think Roki signs January 15th? I do, 15, 16, somewhere in that time range. I feel like the general framework of a contract has already been hammered out across all these teams because, again, it's international pool money. It's a lot smaller. It's not as wide open as Yamamoto's free agency was. So I do think everyone kind of has a ballpark idea of what they're willing to offer or what they can. And then it really is kind of up to Roki to decide where he wants to go. And I do think I still think he will end up as a Dodger. What would a Roki, I mean, it probably looks similar to Shohei's contract. Let's see. Shohei's first contract with the Angels, 2.3 million signing bonus. What is the actual contract? I can't find it. Anybody in the comments got Shohei Ohtani's original? Oh my gosh, El Padrino. Thank you, sir. Lightning bolts all around. I'm a Dodger fan surrounded by Padres and Yankee fans. Don't listen to them, V. Don't worry about that. I'd rather have Bellinger back over Conforto. Dodgers could trade him for him for almost nothing. Maybe it's like one of the... Oh. Hey, thank you. Maybe it's like going back to your ex kind of situation. Like it's too awkward. You just can't do it. But yeah, I mean, we all love Bellinger. But he's past his hill, honestly. Three-peat on the way. We haven't even gone back-to-back yet, and you guys think we're going to go on a three-peat. That's pretty crazy. And again, if you guys are on the TikTok, thank you. If you can subscribe to my YouTube as well, I'll love you guys forever. I am trying to go out to Arizona for a spring training game. I also heard that the Phoenix Suns owner has changed all the concession food at the arena to be $2 for hot dogs, pizzas, drinks, or whatever. So I do want to go to a Phoenix Suns game. So if you're in Phoenix or in the Scottsdale area or just in Arizona, holla at your boy. Yeah, Dodgers don't have as much money. That is true. But again, I think if it was fully about money, he wouldn't either come here at this time. I think there are other factors for us to consider as it regards to Roki Sasaki. But yes, main news, Teoscar Hernandez is back. He is a Dodger. Just want to reaffirm my position, guys. I do like Teoscar Hernandez. I was, I guess, providing some context as to why the Dodgers may not re-sign Teoscar Hernandez at the time, because we have a lot of money committed to a lot of players, and Teoscar Hernandez is an older player. So if you just think about the attrition of an older player, you know, it's not always linear. Like the decline isn't constant. It can be like this and then just drop off. So I think the Dodgers are just preparing themselves a little bit to protect themselves, but ultimately we figured out the number, and I think it's right. 3 years is about right with the fourth option. And if he continues to play well, it'd be good for both parties. But I am a fan of Teoscar. Happy to have him back. Yes, I did want Juan Soto. Yes, I pushed hard for Juan Soto, but it's because he's young. The talent is there. The money, in my opinion, was always going to be very front-loaded with an opt-out afterwards. Obviously, he got the full 700 whatever million dollars, so kudos to him. I would also not have wanted him at that money, but I never thought he was going to get that money from the Dodgers. So that's my full position. Very happy for Teoscar to be back, so everyone can just stop saying that I'm a Teoscar hater. Thank you. Should Ice Cube perform on opening day? Yeah, let's do it. Him and Fat Joe together. There's hate in my eyes for Teo. Again, guys, it's not hate. I don't hate any of our players. I love all the Dodgers. You guys are the ones that hate Max Muncy, and you guys want Nolan Arenado. You guys. I did not want Nolan Arenado. I love Max Muncy, so I don't want to hear it from y'all. I want Kim for shortstop. I also want Kim for shortstop, but I don't think it's going to happen. I know. I'm just kidding, man. This guy says I'm just kidding. We're in a situation that we have been before. We have a great opportunity to three-peat. Guys, let's just go back to back before we talk about a three-peat. I know three-peats are awesome, exciting, addicting. The Lakers are the most recent team, I think. The Chiefs might accomplish it very soon. But let's just get it back to back first, and then we'll talk about three-peating. Jess, I don't know if it's completely unbiased, but yeah, I think it's a little bit more, maybe more rational, a little more pragmatic. I do lean heavily on numbers, only in the sense that I feel like they at least tell you generally how to think about a player or a team. But as fans, I totally understand the emotional aspect of it. Sports is very emotional. These teams we root for become very emotional. If anything, I was surprised at people saying to get over the Walker Buehler thing when he's like my age, close age range, basically grew up together in the Dodgers organization as a fan. So, I try to balance it as best as I can, but I'm always pro Dodgers over everything. Although I will present maybe a more front office perspective, just because I feel like I kind of understand how that business has to work to maintain competitiveness. But again, we're not always going to agree. Actually, many of you guys disagree with me all the time, and I love it. We go back and forth. It's fun to debate. That's part of why I like talking about sports and why I started posting. So, I'm not 35. I'm 31, but I guess close enough. But I hope the Dodgers sign Tanner Scott. Yes, Leslie. We do want Tanner Scott. It has been talked about for sure. Can I post Muncy's contract number? Okay, so I feel like I've done the Max Muncy thing a lot of times. Let's see, Max Muncy. The Max Muncy, guys, he makes this year, he's gonna make $14.5 million, and then he's off. It's a club option, so we wouldn't have to sign him back. His production relative to how much we pay him is awesome, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack from maybe baseball purists. Average is not the stat that it used to be, and average is just not what we should think too much about, because for Max Muncy specifically, unfortunately for some of you, he is there to either strike out, walk, or hit a home run, right? He is one of those true 3 outcome players. And so for us, he actually does, I actually think him hitting a single or him hitting for average is not as productive of an at-bat as it is to draw a walk or hit a home run. And I'm pretty sure... Okay, hitting a home run significantly increases a team's win probability, typically adding around 10 to 20%. I don't know what it is for a single, but I promise you it's not that high. And I find it odd that many people will make this argument that, oh, if he just moves the runners up, blah, blah, blah. There's no guarantee that the hitters after Max Muncy are going to hit. You know what I'm saying? So then you just move your blame shift to the next batter. I think Max Muncy, his role is to hit home runs and get walks. And I think he does that at a fantastic clip. And he was injured this year, guys. I promise you those counting numbers, if he was healthy, will look a lot better. Like, way better. And I think you guys would have a different perspective. His performance in the World Series, I understand the anger. Yes, he went 0 for whatever. In baseball, I think it is the wrong way to look at a player just based off of one series. And you can then talk about maybe his playoffs in general, but Max Muncy, if you guys don't remember the NLCS, got on to base like 13 times in a row record. I will, until he's no longer on the Dodgers, die on this hill that I think Max Muncy, at least again for this one season, is a better option than Nolan Arenado. For those of you saying move Max to second, Arenado at third. I just don't want the Dodgers to hold on to that contract for Arenado into 2026 and 2027, even if it is highly discounted. I think the fact that it is still on the books, for me, just not my preference. I know many people in the Dodgers kind of fandom want him. I understand. If it happens, I'll root for Arenado, of course. But just if it comes down to between Max Muncy or Arenado, I am on Max Muncy. Yes, my Max Muncy love affair is profound. I do admit that. I went on a little spiel here. Okay, so for some reason, the people in my live suddenly are much more pro Muncy than I feel like my regular commenters are, because again, I've been fighting for my life for Max Muncy. But again, I understand though why you guys are feeling the way you guys feel. Who's the top dog in the American League? I mean, the Yankees, I think, are an interesting team because you can either look at their offseason two ways, which I've seen all over Twitter. It's either they've signed a bunch of over-the-hill all superstars that are available for a reason, or they've made a lot of savvy moves to set themselves up to be pretty good post Juan Soto. I think overall the Yankees are going to be very competitive. I think if Baltimore can re-sign Corbin Burnes, they'll also be competitive. But I also think the Red Sox are going to low-key be pretty competitive. That pitching staff is pretty nasty. So I think the AL East definitely is going to have a lot of noise to make in this upcoming season. But, oh, whoa. What was that? A Galaxy. That's cool. I've never seen that before. Thank you. But do I think Vlad will be traded? I mean, I don't know. Genesis, I think the Rangers are going to be dangerous for the AL. Yeah, I mean, if they can stay healthy. But the Rangers are interesting because I feel like they try to save money, but then they're also still signing players and spending money. But yeah, definitely. Rangers 2 years at this point removed, or 1 year removed from winning the World Series, definitely could come back and be very, very competitive. If DeGrom can be healthy, obviously, amazing team. If they re-sign their relief pitchers, Kirby Yates and David Robinson, good moves. I thought the Dodgers could target those guys as well. But yeah, I think the AL, it's more. I think there's more opportunity there. I think the NL, it's the Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, and then the Mets, I think, is a fourth with the Padres in there. Oh man, actually, the NL is pretty nasty. The NL is pretty loaded. Actually, the AL, AL is pretty. Actually, I don't know. I feel like both leagues are pretty strong. I feel like in the AL, the Tigers are going to be pretty frisky. They got Gleyber Torres. Rafael de Cruz was good, man. Thank you for asking. I don't love being on a boat for that long, but I think 3-day cruise is perfect. 7 days, I think, is too much. Mookie MVP season loading? Maybe. I just don't know if anyone can win it besides Ohtani, because Ohtani's going to be pitching again, and then those numbers are going to be what they are, man. Dominican potential. I've said this many times. I think the Dominican Republic, I'm surprised that they don't win the World Baseball Classic. That lineup is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. How do you feel? I think Gavin has to go. I mean, I hope not, but yeah. I mean, in the rotation we have, let's see, Dodgers, Snell, Glasnow. Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, Gonsolin, May, Sheehan, Knack, Yamamoto. There's no room. This is, again, not including Roki, who I do think we're going to sign. I just don't know where he fits in, man. I just don't know. And I think he's proven enough that I think he has more value in the open market than other players on our roster. Even like a Gonsolin, who, you know, he had like an NL Cy Young level season before he got hurt, but now he's how many years removed, injuries, all that stuff. Gavin Stone, although, also had an injury. Does Ohtani go 40-40 next year? It will be interesting to see how much we run him in this upcoming season. Obviously, yeehaw, thank you. Obviously, he was the best at that this season. Actually, Ellie De La Cruz was better, but as far as both. But if he starts pitching, I can see us maybe pulling that back, not being as aggressive with the steals. Get rid of Gonsolin. Yeah, maybe, huh? I like Gonsolin, though. Not gonna lie, I do like Gonsolin. Did they re-sign Flaherty? No, I do not think so. No, I think this is Kershaw's last year for sure. Again, guys, I am also chatting with my 2-3 YouTube live viewers. If you guys could also subscribe and follow there, I would be very appreciative. Trying to prep to give you guys more content, more podcasting. I know someone said I need to go back to podcasting. I will, I promise. And then filming more YouTube content, going to Arizona, stuff like that. So I keep saying that so that you guys can keep me accountable. I will be there. We will hang out if you guys are in the area, or at least I'll try to set up something. I want Ohtani to close his role. Maybe he could get 40 homers, 40 steals, 46. Eddie, you're trying to work this guy to the bone, aren't you? You're trying to use up every drop of Ohtani. Do you think the Dodgers add more free agents? The only ones I can see us adding again are Tanner Scott and Roki Sasaki, if you believe him to be a free agent. Yeah. Does May ever become a starter again? I think so. On a different team. Let's see. Okay, is Sasaki waiting until the international signing pool resets? Yes, I do believe he is waiting for that. Gabriel Velasquez says Lux had a .899 second half OPS. And that's my point. Like, Gavin Lux has all the talent, and he showed enough, I think, in the second half of the season to make you believe that it's still in there. Thank you, Gabriel, for that. It's still, he has it, okay? Like, he's very talented at baseball, and I just personally don't love giving up on a young guy like that. Especially, it's not like we have a surplus at that position. I think we're still trying to figure out what that's all going to look like, so I'd rather keep him. Thank you, Jesse, for the sub. Over under 102. Thank you, Hayden. Over under 102 wins. I think it's over. We had 97 this year. I do think it's over. I don't think we would go for like the record number, but I do think we'll hit over 102 wins this year. Probably 105 to 110. I miss Bauer. I'm going to leave that one. Again, I know he was acquitted of all things. So it's not really necessarily about that, but I think it's just time to move on. I feel like he's been doing too much TikTok pitching in Mexico. Like, I know Mexican League is good, but come on. This is the Major League Baseball. Who do I think wins the NL East? I do believe... I think the Braves, if they're healthy, will win. I just am a believer of that organization. I feel like even without some of the best players, they still made the wild card. I do think it'll be the Braves. And then, the wild card in the National League is going to be crazy next year. Like, Braves, Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, even the Giants potentially are all going to be in the mix for their division and in the wild card. So it's going to be crazy competitive baseball. Fernando, I'm sorry, I don't have many thoughts on the Angels. I don't pay attention to the Angels very much, actually, at all. I just know that they have that one closer who throws like a million miles an hour. What's his name? I would say the AL Central, AL West has some crazy relief arms in there. Because obviously Mason Miller. And then, is it Ben Joyce? I think it's Ben Joyce. Yeah, this dude is filthy. Ben Joyce, future Dodger. That guy's disgusting. He's good stuff. I think I gotta see Ben Joyce's baseball savant page. Yeah, if you guys go to my YouTube, this guy is just absolutely disgusting. Oh yeah, there it is. My goodness, this guy. Yeah, 105. He's filthy, man. Ben Joyce is so nice. They need to chance bay check swing to go to the bases. I don't know exactly what that means. They need to change bat check swing to go to the bases, not home plate ump. Biggest threat to the Dodgers, if for the world, like just in general, I think is the Braves. Within our division, I would say it's the Padres. Yeah. Actually, that's a good point by Gabrielle again. Sheehan and Gratterall are probably not going to be on the roster for much of the season, so that's another relief and starter slash middle relief player that we would need to sign. Freeway Series or Subway Series? If the Freeway Series is San Diego Dodgers, it's definitely that one. I just think overall those teams are better. The Dodgers and the Padres, I think, are better than the Mets and the Yankees. So definitely Dodgers, Padres, and I think there's a lot more bad blood. I feel like the Yankees and Mets, they haven't been both so good recently that it would be that kind of exciting, whereas the Dodgers and the Padres have been very good and have had many postseason clashes. I think that's what's tough. The Mets and the Yankees are not in the same league, so then it just kind of makes it harder to really build that kind of hatred and that camaraderie or like that competitiveness every time. Am I in favor of an electronic strike zone? Personally, I am, because I feel like, and actually this is different than many players. I think many players actually prefer a live ump, but I prefer an electronic strike zone because I just think too many games have gone the wrong way because of a bad call. And maybe not games, but at least definitely innings, which then I think turn into game outcomes. So personally, I am a fan of electronic strike zone and robo umpires. I suck. Thank you, Abel. I appreciate that, man. Mets and Yanks are 100 times better than the Padres. I don't know if they're 100 times better than the Padres. I don't know. Maybe it's close, but I think the Padres are better. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, Tommy. I was a fan of you. What happened, Abel? Umps were horrible this last year. Yeah, there's a really good Twitter account you can follow that tracks, what are they called? Umpire report card? Yeah, umpire scorecards. I would follow this account religiously for every Dodger game to see like how they did. Sometimes it'd be brutal. All right, JG, appreciate you, man. Good night. We're gonna pitch when the starters go down because we're cursed with injuries. I don't know, probably Rich Hill, Lance Lynn will probably find their way back to our team at some point. Yeah. All right, guys. How long have we put in here? I think I'm going to call it a night as well. I just wanted to hop on, talk to Teoscar Hernandez back with the Dodgers. Very exciting. Yeah, finally happened. I'm excited. We'll be back again soon on this live. Everyone go enjoy your Friday nights. This is always fun. Again, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't. Otherwise, peace out. Okay. All right, YouTube fan, if you're still here, going to any games at 25, and will you stream or record? It's a good question. I think I plan on, potentially, there's a lot of my, I do want to go to some games, but the big thing is when I put up my review videos if I go to the game, it's just hard to get it out right when the game ends, which is when I get the most engagement. So it's tough for me, honestly, to go to the games. It's actually easier for me to do what I do. Basically not at the games. So we'll see. I do love going to baseball games though, but ever since I started doing this, I realized kind of staying at home or watching from somewhere else, it's just easier to get the content out in like a timely manner. And then I am going to try to stream more often for sure. What move do you anticipate to make room for Sasaki on the 40 man? When can we move players to the 60-day IL? So yeah, the second part, I forget the deadlines on that, but so it's like Kershaw, Kike, Roki, Sasaki, Roki, and then maybe Tanner Scott or something. So I think Gratterall, Sheehan for sure will be moved, and I think Outman is not a guarantee to me to stay on the roster. Dalton Rushing is not a guarantee to stay on the roster. So right there is 4 players. I do think there is a desire to bring Dalton Rushing up this season though and have him play a little more. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I think I can see those moves, and then I don't know. I feel like these guys are getting injured all the time. CT3 for a trade. My thing is, I feel like I defend all the players that everybody hates, and then I don't defend the players that everybody loves. I think with Chris Taylor, what he offers us defensively is pretty valuable still. He can literally play like almost every position. And part of my thought process is he can't have as bad of an offensive season as he just had. It was pretty bad. He also plays very sparingly, and I think that's a tough position where you don't get at-bats every game to just come in and, do your thing. So I might be defending him a little bit too much. I might be holding on to, too many years ago, but I don't know who we would trade him for. That being said, obviously he would be probably salary filler for a trade if it were to happen. And if there's somebody really good out there, probably preferably younger, that the Dodgers can make a swing for, totally open to that. But yeah, I don't know. I like CT3, and again, he's also someone who is on the last year of his contract as well. So, what's the harm, in my opinion, if people were using locker room presence as a reason to bring back Teoscar? Obviously, performance matters, but I think if you speak of culture fit, being a presence in the locker room, I mean, Chris Taylor is that for sure. I think the guys like him a lot and just get along well with him. So I'm not preferring to trade him, but if it were to happen, I would say a young guy who can kind of fill in his shoes as well and kind of do damage from the plate as well as play many defensive positions. All right, anything else? Showing the YouTube people some love, because I know if I got to build this up, I got to talk to y'all. But I know I've answered a lot of questions about who I'd want to see. Is there anybody, if you're still watching it, you guys want to see the Dodgers pick up? Are there any pitchers? I mean, I think besides Roki Sasaki, obviously he's the one that we all kind of want. But you guys have any other desires for players that may or may not be available? Anybody? Nobody? All right. I don't know how much of a lag there is between what I say and what you guys see. I know sometimes that can kind of affect how this goes, but Dylan. Who's Dylan? I don't know if I know who you're talking about, to be honest. Dalton? Oh, Dylan Cease, pitcher, San Diego. He would be. I mean, he's good. I think it's the same issue. I don't know where he fits in within our rotation. Does he get a starting spot? I mean, I guess he realistically probably does, but who does he bump? Oh, Dylan Cease. Yeah. I mean, would be interesting. Him as like a fifth starter, very good. Him as like a number 2, not good. So, but all right, guys. Appreciate you guys' time tonight. I'm gonna log off for the day, but Teoscar Hernandez back with the Dodgers.